All right, what's going on, guys? Paul Hovan. I'm here with the man, Sugar Shawn Ray. We got some fun stuff going on. I'm excited to be partnering with Shawn. We got some online training, online nutrition. We got a team behind the scenes as well. We kind of officially launched it, but I think going into the new year, especially with January 1st coming around, we got a lot of people looking to get into shape, a lot of bodybuilding shows and things like that. So I'm excited. So I got Shawn on the line here, and we're going to talk a little bit about like calories and macros, because once I started talking to Shawn, we're doing his ebook right now. He's telling me some of the meals that he used to eat. And what's impressive about Shawn is he never calculated calories, doesn't know the macros he used to eat. Shawn, you want to elaborate a little bit about like how you used to do your meals back in the day?
Well, I'm old school, man. And you got to remember, Paul, I've logged a lot of miles this year. I actually became a frequent flyer million miler with Delta. And of course, I fly United, I fly American and Southwest and all these other small little runs. But I've been logging some miles, man. Italy, Korea, China, Japan, Ireland. Lots of travel, doing the business of bodybuilding. Of course, when I was bodybuilding, like you said, I was focused on the mirror. Being an artist, and just now I came back this past weekend from the anti-aging convention in Las Vegas. So we're dealing with almost no sleep in the past 3 days out in Las Vegas, because who sleeps in Vegas? But going back to capture a little bit more about what it was like being at the top of my game throughout the 90s, all the way until I retired in 2001. Counting calories, counting macros, those were like sounds like Chinese to me. And the logic for me was simple, because I didn't know how many calories I was burning up per day. It didn't make any sense for me to figure out how many I was taking in. The same way it didn't make any sense for me to take a measuring tape to my bicep or around my thigh, because typically when I'm on stage, I'm at my smallest ever. So it didn't matter what my measurements were throughout the year, whether I was off season or whether it was the day before the show. The measurements counted for nothing. The judges looked at the physique. So my measuring stick for me was always the mirror. I didn't get caught up in how much I could lift or how strong I was, how big I was, how much I actually weighed. And so it simplified my approach. Those were numbers I didn't have to kick around in my spare time in between meals. When I went to eat and I was gaining weight, I overindulged, right? And when I was cutting back, I would cut back the foods that were rich in calories, which were, obvious. The carbohydrates, number one, all the extras and stuff, the calories that I didn't necessarily need. And I would eat as plain as I could, but at the same time, I'd increase my volume of cardio. I'd pick up the pace of my workout. I'd do more drop sets. I would do more repetitions. I would burn more calories than I was pretty much almost trying to take in. So I knew how to gain weight and lose weight. And when the show was over, you saw a reflection of somebody that went to the gym day in and day out and chiseled away at the physique and kind of guessed his way through the nutritional side. Now, mind you, I peed a lot and I sweated a lot. I drank a lot of water, and of course you lose a lot of vitamins and minerals. So I took my supplements, my vitamin B, C, D. I had branched chain amino acids, and I drank my protein shakes as well. So I kind of knew that nutritional aspect of it. But I was one of those. I'd be considered probably a unicorn today, because you just don't find that now with the bodybuilders and their trainers. And then the people on the sidelines telling them when to eat, how to eat, how much to eat. So it'd be nice for me to kind of like learn that process too, even in hindsight, as we break down what I ate in a day's work and see what that looked like caloric intake wise, and what that might measure up to next to some of the guys that we know counted their calories. Rich Gaspari was known for measuring his food, counting his calories. Lee Labrada the same way, very scientific, cerebral bodybuilders. But I kept up with them and I surpassed them without having to overindulge myself in that arena. So I'm curious to see what that looks like caloric-wise.
Yeah, I think it was funny because when we started going over your ebook and we started adding a lot of material in there, I was telling you how you didn't even know it, but you were carb cycling. You were adjusting your calories on the days where you weren't training as hard. You were eating less because you knew you weren't going to be burning as much. You explain the high carb days. You talk about how you would decrease your carbs later on in the day. All of these things elicit fat loss, and you didn't, you kind of were just, like you said, guessing your way around it, but you started learning your body, and you found out what really worked for you. And, you know, time after time, I mean, I think you're one of the most talked about Hall of Fame bodybuilders that consistently you were never out of shape, you know?
Right. And I think that comes through trial and error. I mean, listen, so many athletes out there are afraid to learn their body first. The good thing about it is that where I'm at now, I can help people shortcut that. Where I've been there, I can simplify it. It's not. When I came up, we didn't have all these selections of products. We didn't even have that many selections of gyms, let alone people that were willing to help us and coach us. It seems like anybody can get out there and be a coach if they have a little bit of athleticism about them. But when you've walked the path that I've walked, it comes with a little bit more credentials, a little bit more education, because I can talk beyond the textbook information. There's a lot of instinctive intuition type training and eating that takes place in the mind of a bodybuilder. Not every day is a carbon copy of the next. There's going to be days where you feel great and days that you feel bad. Days that you're sick and days that you're not. Some that you're overtrained and undertrained. The person that's been in that arena and has been in those situations kind of knows how to adjust the meals, how to adjust the liquids, and how to adjust the psychology of it all. And I think that's where the online training with me will come in a little bit more, because I'll be accessible to talk to the person that's going where I've already been. You want to know how to get to the highest point there is, talk to somebody that's on their way back down. And that's where I figure, you know what, I have the time now and I have the expertise around me and the team, and we can share these journeys together. And I can kind of recount literally every one of those competitions that I was in. And every year it was a different approach. It was a different nutritional angle, mindset. And mindset's key in this, Paul, because you can eat perfectly to a T, but if your mind's not in sync with the mission at hand, and you let me say the journey a lot, because it is a journey from start to finish. As soon as you pick the contest date out, it's going to be a journey of ups and downs, peaks and lows. But if you have the right go-to guy that can talk you through that, that's where you're going to have the advantage from one coach to the next.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I think, you know, I'm like the very sciencey, you know, I got, you know, 2 bachelor's degrees, science, exercise science. I've done a lot of seminars, you know, learning from pros and nutritional science and all that stuff. And that's why I think we really mesh well, because you bring so much experience to the table. And I'm in the last 10 years of learning, you know, all the cutting edge approaches to nutrition and just the science behind exercise, and then sometimes we can get too caught up in the science, and that's coming from a science guy. I love science. I love research. I love all that. But then you come from a person like you who walked the walk, and you say, hey, you know, I went through this and I tried something a little different than what the conventional science says, and I've gotten great results too. So we can kind of bring 2 worlds together. And I think that's really going to make the programming, the nutrition, everything for our clients that are coming on. I think it's really going to give them a different experience that they haven't had yet, you know?
Because there's a lot of crossroads. You're gonna hit certain stages of your training where you would go to ask the coach or ask the book smart nutrition bachelor degree person, and maybe he doesn't know how to navigate that terrain because he hasn't been there physically. And that's where I think this team that we built is going to be able to answer a lot of those unknowns for people that are on their way. Not to mention, there's opportunity here. You know, I travel the globe. I'm dealing with various types of sponsors. I'm dealing with lots of different promoters. And I can recommend different shows to do, different opportunities that might arise from photographic to videography, website design, all of those things. It seems like this is going to be a one-stop shop for a lot of athletes on a global scale. It's not geographically specific, because this is, you know, with the World Wide Web, we can reach anybody. Right. Anybody can come on board and become a part of this team, and know that we have the competence to help you navigate to get from point A to point B. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, as an athlete, you want results. And as a guy that's been there, you know, you're going to be one of my proteges. You're going to be the walking, talking, living example of what we're able to build here. And that's where the real reward comes, because I can't take this with me, just like you can't take the knowledge with you. So this is why this is the right time to do what we're doing. Yeah,
and I like when we were writing your ebook again and learning about your methods, and how I'm the same exact ways. I would never tell someone to do something I haven't tried.
Right.
Because I want to know that it works on me first. It's all about the trial and error that you were talking about. It's, You know, if barbell squats are hurting your knees when you're going all the way down, maybe you shouldn't be doing barbell squats, you know, maybe you should be doing something else. And the reason we wanted to start this video is because we've already gotten a few, you know, inquiries from people who don't know about macros and inputting them into applications on the phone. And that's one of the variables and necessities that you need to know in order to work with us, because we're going to calculate your macros and calories based on a ton of information that you're going to give us. And you're picking the food that you eat. We're going to, you know, we give a nice laundry list of staple foods we like to base the nutrition around. I always do the 80-20 rule, 80% nice healthy foods that are going to fuel the body for the intense exercise, cardio, activity, all that. And then 20% is up to you if you want to fill, you know, your carbs in with some simple rice, or you know, maybe you're going to add some, you know, chocolate chips for some quick carbs before the workout. That's all up to you and your discretion. So we want people to know how to do that. And that's why I kind of wanted we can hop on, quickly talk about macros. So I know one of Shawn's staple foods back in the day, he would have 2 NY strip steaks.
Yes, that's my favorite.
He would have the white rice, and then he would have the asparagus spears, right?
And you know what's funny is, as it comes out of your mouth, I hear other people going, no, white rice, use that brown rice. People get very caught up in some specifics when they heard this is better for you than that. And of course, we're going to run into a situation where you may not be able to get away with eating steak, so you may have to eat fish. You may not like fish, so we may have to switch you over to chicken, turkey, rice. The thing about it is there's so many varieties out there to get your protein source from and your carbohydrate source from, that you're not going to know it unless you are exposed to the trial and error process. Some people are so regimented, Paul, on their diets that they don't know that they can have chocolate chip or cookies or pizza or tacos. I mean, I was able to finesse my way around some junk food, which I would call a reward, because when you're burning on all cylinders and you're eating clean and you're training hard, you have to have that reward so that you want to do it again the following week, right? So I never was one of those guys that was like, I've got to be in this little box, and if I get outside this box, I'm going to fall off the wagon. And if I fall off the wagon, I'm not going to be able to get back on the cycle again. And there's so much psychology behind this that you can get away with eating literally whatever it is that you enjoy. I did the fish diet where the sweat glands was just, it smelled like, you smelled me before you saw me when I break a sweat, because I was eating so much fish. But then I realized, hey, I can eat steak and I can get ripped. I realized I can eat chicken and maintain my gains. So this is where we're going to have a lot of trial and error, a lot of variety. And I think that's where you'll be able to finish the race if you realize you don't have to eat tuna out of a can and be on a low-carb diet for 14, 16 weeks in order to achieve your goals.
Right, and then I think that's where when you're talking about food you enjoy, you know, the majority of the people, they want to achieve that lean, or, you know, whatever goal they have of what their body to look like and function. They want to achieve that, and they want to keep that long term, right? That's what we all want to do. We want to be healthy and in shape for as long as we can and maintain it. And when you're doing that, I did the tuna fish diet through college, you know. I mean, I crack open the bag of tuna on my way to class, make sure I got my protein in, but it's like, you think back now, it's like, I don't want to do that, you know. I don't want to do that to maintain my physique or anything. You know, I want to really optimize what I can eat and enjoy what I can eat, because the number one contributor to just being lean and getting fat loss is diet adherence. It's not just following something for 12 weeks, getting lean, and then you're gaining back the 20, 30 pounds you lost, right? Nobody wants to do that. So it's, can you adhere to the way you're eating right now for 5 months, 6 months, a year? Can you do that? And if you can, I think that's how you should eat. And then, you know, that's where the macros come into play, where like, even I was the same way. I'm like, I can eat, you know, 2 Pop-Tarts as my 50 carbs before I go to the gym instead of 2 cups of white rice. Like, it's going to give me the same type of energy, and I'm not going to, it's pretty much very similar in caloric intake. I'm not going to go over my maintenance calories. Like, these are things you don't really know about until you try them. And I, you know, once you try them, I think people are going to be surprised, because, you know, go ahead. I mean, I already know. I mean,
it comes down to variety. And if you don't know what that variety is, how do you go to the grocery store? I mean, the biggest aspect for a lot of these athletes getting ready for shows is, what do I eat? What do I buy? How do I prepare it? And how much of it do I eat? And so some guys will find the wrong person for the job, because a lot of bodybuilders will fall into, that guy looks big, I'm going to go ask him for his advice. And then this guy's going to wind up getting me on this cycle and this program. And then the next thing you know, they're looking for that guy to pick out the food sources, to do the banking, to give the relationship advice. I mean, these are very specific things that we're talking about. You want to get big, you want to get ripped, you want to get on stage. This is where you come, because we know how that process happens, and we can get you there. You want advice on your banking? Don't ask me. We're going to get you a banker. That's what they specialize in. They'll help you on that area. You want to figure out how to lower your monthly mortgage? Let's get you in the mortgage office so we can talk to them. But when it comes down to the sport, the science, the training, the nutrition aspect, this is a one-stop shop area. And, of course, we're offering the other services along with the posing and along with the mentoring. So that's why I jumped onto this, because now I have the time that I can actually focus and pay it forward, and working with the right team, it'll be an easy fit. And
you know what? It's like we're training people just how we're talking right now. They're going to hop right on a Skype call with us, be able to ask you as whatever questions they want. If they have more, maybe sciencey questions, they're geeks like me, you might tell me to answer and I'll give them some answers, So I think the internet, like you said, we're at a different age where you can, like, I feel like I'm in your kitchen right now just talking to you.
You're in my office, bro. I'm right here. Yeah, that is the Arnold Classic trophy back there.
I saw that back there.
Yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, it brings us all a little bit closer together. It's more intimate. You're not sitting here in front of a seminar asking a question that you might think is beneath my pay grade. I mean, we'll be able to answer from the simplest to the most complex. If we don't have the answer, look, we'll find the answer. We try to flush it out, because really what we're talking about is relationship building. And through being comfortable with the people that you're working with, you'll be able to achieve your goals. And also you'll get that confidence too, because Paul, you'll be surprised at how many great bodybuilders out there. We all come from a background of, bigorexia, anorexia. We got bullied. We had low self-esteem. We didn't have the support of our family. So a lot of athletes go into the gym and they build this facade, but inside it still, there's a lot of us that are broken and very fragile, very thin-skinned people that don't have the confidence. And this is what we do. We'll build you up. We'll give you that confidence to walk the walk and then get up there on the stage and do the performance of your life. And hopefully we'll be there at the end, and we do it together. That's what I'm all about. I'm trying to make this teamwork so that it's not just a pay for play. Like, I want to be a part of the process, part of the journey, which is why we constructed our team with the right people that can, fit the pieces together. And I'm all on with this, because we can reach anybody from anywhere with this medium.
Yeah, and I think you can see it a lot too in some of the videos you share from just your muscle camps, how like hands-on you love being with people and training them and just, giving them the right direction. And now with the tools we have at our hands now, it's, if people have questions or they want to know how you would perform a certain exercise, you get up right from your chair and you say, I perform the bent over row like this. You need to squeeze. We're interacting and training people just like this, instead of, having to be one-on-one training. I did one-on-one training for 7 years in a mini gym, and I love doing that too. But then once I realized I can start traveling, and I met my wife while we were traveling, and then I was still training people just via the computer. I was like, man, this is amazing. Yeah,
well, that's what I'm excited about. So, I mean, this is just a start. We'll open it up and let the people come. We're here to serve, and that's pretty much where I'm at. It is an age-specific thing. You couldn't have caught me with the same comfort level in my mid-30s. It just wasn't going to be possible. I was too heavy in the game, building my physique. It was all about me. It's very selfish. And then, of course, traveling around, and there's kind of a certain demand now, because not everybody wants to be big. Some people just want to be in shape. And, of course, I was both. So that's why I'm like, all right, now's the time. Let's get this done. And, of course, we can arrange it where they can either come here and we go to the gym together and I'm training with them, or I can meet them there in their own home gym as their guest. So I'm ready to get the show on the road.
Yeah, 100%. So from the meal that we like taking from the ebook, right, I'm on a simple MyFitnessPal app. I think, can you see it there? It's a little bright. But for what we use as our training software is called My PT Hub. If you want to do that on your own, you pay for it. But once you start training with us, we give you a full username, password. You come into the software, and there we are interacting with you, giving you your training programs, your macros, and it has built-in, macro tracking. Same thing as any free app that you might do. So all I did on here is I put Shawn. I'm guessing, one of his New York strips was like maybe 5 ounces, I'll say. Right after cooking, maybe it's 4. I don't know. With the fluid, sometimes the water comes off. So I said, 2 New York strips is 8 ounces. And so all I did, I went into the app, I clicked NY strip. There's a nice big green check mark next to the most used one that people click on, which is usually the most trusted. And then it spits it out. It tells me it's 253 calories, 41 grams of protein, 9 grams of fat, 1 gram of carb. And so from there, it adjusts my macros. It tells me, okay, say we gave you a 200 gram per day protein goal. That's what we want you to hit. It automatically minuses 40. Now you have 160 left to hit in your next 4 meals. And it's very simple, and then we put in the 1 cup of cooked white rice, 205 calories, 45 carbs. It adjusts it, tells you what you got, 12 asparagus spears, 40 calories, 6 carbs. And then right there, it tells you your total calories for that meal, carbs, protein, fat, which is the 3 macros we're going to be really sticking to. There's a few actually, there's alcohol and fiber and things like that. But to simplify it, because we want people to be able to do this long term. So to simplify it, we're sticking with protein, carbs, and fats. And that it very simple like that. If a meal has 500 calories, that means you have 500 calories to play with. And you can put in, if we want 50 grams of carbs for that meal, you find, maybe that's 8 ounces of chicken, you plug it in, 50 grams of protein, subtracts the calories, and then you go from there. I think a lot of people also is you can calculate your own macros online. There's a ton of formulas. There's the Mifflin St. George, this is the science coming out of me. There's the there's the Mueller. There's all these ways that you can calculate your own macros. But as you come on with us, that's what we do for you. And you're picking the foods. It's about being able to eat this way long term, maximum adherence, because the food you eat they're nowhere near as important just to the total amount of calories you're eating, right? Because Shawn, you said it the same way. Sometimes you overindulge because you were trying to gain weight. You gained weight because you ate more calories than you expended. It's pretty simple. And if we want to lose fat, we have to eat less than we expend. We have to expend more. So, I love the combination. This is one of the first good video calls me and Shawn were able to get on and just kind of talk back and forth on. And we're gonna have a lot more videos coming. I think we should hit on a few good topics like cardio and some of the best muscle building exercises coming from you with your experience. And then I can kind of talk about what the science says about stuff like the deadlift and, the barbell squat and, some of the staples from your training. And, so I'm excited about some of the videos we got coming out and with the new year coming around, I'm excited to get people started and see what we can do with them. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think we all are. I mean, in a nutshell, keep checking back. We're going to be here.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Shawn Ray Elite Coaching. We're out of here, man.
Peace.